Hello, welcome to J Designs. Today, ta-da! Oh man, what have I got myself into this time? Now what's the point of doing a wing? Why do I need one? Well, one, because it's cool, obviously, but two, it's because my truck looks like this. So as you can see, there's a cab there and there's nothing back there. So I'm doing a flatbed build on this truck. And the issue is right now is that the truck spins tires super easy. Obviously with there being absolutely no weight in the back and a ton in the front, there's just not a lot of traction on the rear tires. So that's why I'm gonna build a wing. And then when it's raining, you can even think about traction in this thing. If I even look at that throttle the wrong way, this thing is pretty much already spinning tires. But it's not all bad. It's pretty fun to slide this thing around in the rain, so can't complain about that. But as much fun as it is to slide this thing around, traction's kind of important on the vehicle that you drive every day. So let's build a wing. All right, so we're ready to start this wing build off. I'm gonna take you out here to the front of the truck. Got something to write on, something to write with. Got my measuring tape, and I'll take you through the entire build process here. So first we're just going to start out with a base measurement from the hitch here. And I pretty much don't want this wing to be in the rear view mirror. So we'll just take a rough measurement to the top of the bed here. And it looks like that's 12.5. And then from the top of the bed to the top of the cab, it's about 36 inches. So add those two together and that's what, 48.5. We'll just go ahead and call that 48. And then I'll start drawing up the hitch here. So I want the little piece that's going to go into the hitch receiver. I'm going to do a little 45-degree cut like this coming out, and then we have our main tube that's going to run up to the wing. And I'll write that dimension down, 48 inches from the top of the hitch to the bottom of the wing. And we'll have end plates on the wing. That doesn't need to be in this diagram, but I'll go ahead and draw it on here. And then what else do we want? I guess how far we want it to stick out here. Don't really want it to stick out too far from the hitch. But let's see here. So we need what? Let's see how long it is to the pitch pin. So that's 2.5. I'll go check the front because it needs to fit the front as well. And that's mainly because when I build the rear bumper, it's gonna be the same measurements as what my front hitch is. Check out the video on that guy. So it's the hitch pin to the end of the hitch is 2.5 inches. So I'll write that in here. And then how far do we want to go into the hitch? We'll say another 2.5 inches. So we need a total of a 5-inch piece for that there. And the rest of this, I think I'll just kind of doodle in a measurement. It's not particularly important as to how far the thing sticks out, but I definitely don't want it to stick out far, so we'll just say I'll wait now because it's 45. I'll have to do some bit of math on. I can't do that in my head. We need to do a bit of trigonometry to pick that dimension, essentially how far it's going to stick out from the hitch. Well, that's good. There's the rough start of it. It's a pretty simple build. There's going to be like a sign on it right here that you'll see later in this video, and there'll be one here, and then we'll add lights to it and stuff like that, but I'll place those later. The main thing we need to do is just get this tube going, and then we'll start building the wing. All right, so I got my measurements, I got some tube, ready to start making some noise. Is that just me, or does anyone else actually like rev their tools, even if they're electric? Let's get to cutting. Might need a pair of those before we start. Got ear pro in, by the way. Didn't need to cut much off of that one. It was already pretty close to the right size. Right on the money. Oh yeah, by the way, doing this in flip-flops. I live in Florida and it's silly hot. Gotta stay cool. All right, so there's one of the tubes we just cut out. Here's the other one. This is the one that's gonna slide into the hitch pin, like this one on our drawing here. So the next step I gotta go do is mark a hole location. to drill out on the drill press for the hitch pin. So I just realized I was wearing this thing. I actually got to get out of this shirt because it's a synthetic material and it burns. This is not the right thing to be wearing while I'm in here. These shirts are nice because they got like vents and stuff like in the pockets and they keep you cool because I live in Florida. Got to stay cool, but don't want to burn any holes in it. I kind of like this shirt, so I'm gonna take it off, switch into something a little more durable. It's a little better. I'm still going to, you probably can't see that, I'm still going to wear my flip-flops though. It's way too hot to wear boots right now. So it's only 87 today. It is probably hotter inside that garage, but it's like a bajillion% humidity. All right, so I've got the holes drilled in this little tube here. If you may have noticed, there's that one there. I totally missed that hole, by the way. I forgot about the 2 inches it's going to need for the tube that's going to shoot off of this guy, but it's okay. That's going to be a lightweight hole, speed hole. And then this has 2 holes. This one's for my current hitch, and then the other one's going to be for the hitch that I'm going to build in the future. Stay tuned for that. And you can probably see I went ahead and gone and cleaned and beveled these guys. I've also done it for this tube. The reason for going in there and beveling is to kind of add a little more surface area for the weld. It makes it stronger. Not that this project's like particularly structural or anything, but it also makes for a nice flush weld with the surface of the material. Next steps, I'm gonna tack weld these together, and then after that I'm gonna make a 15-degree bevel on the end of this, and that's gonna set the wing angle. And then we're gonna start building the wing. I'll also probably test fit this in the hitch first to make sure it fits. So what do you think? 10-degree wing angle or 15-degree wing angle? So I went with 10 degrees. I also went in and ahead and burned the end in. You just saw me tack welding them, but now they're fully welded in there. They're looking pretty good. I also went in here and chamfered this just to make it look a bit cleaner. Looks like a friggin' war pick or something. Looking pretty good. Let's go try it on the truck, see what it looks like with what we got done so far. All right, let's see what she looks like. looks like a freaking mouse tail or something. You can see really nicely it's like lined up with the top of the hood there. All right. Don't look like nothing yet, but it's getting there. You can see how it's kind of lined up with the third brake light. I'm gonna put a light on the back of the wing when it's done, so that way nobody can get me for not being able to see the third brake light. Also, it's pretty friggin' loosey-goosey in there right now. And don't worry, I'm gonna do a strap that comes off and goes and ties into these airline tracks to keep it nice and tight. But yeah, she's getting there. Let's go test those welds, I think. That's a lot of torque right there. So that's a 4-foot long thing, and I weigh I don't know, 160 pounds. So 4 times 160. So like 700, 800 pounds, somewhere around there of torque on the chassis. Yeah. If you're wondering what the red thing is, by the way, I'm just covering up the license plate. I said it looked like a war pick. Let's go see how good it is at doing that. Well, should probably get some eye protection. Oh, I missed. Missed again. Good enough. It's harder to aim that thing than an axe. Oh well. Yeah, it's Friday night. I'm gonna go cause some trouble with my friends. And it's starting to rain, so we'll finish this tomorrow. A little bit of powder on the bottom of her. Welds are totally fine. That's definitely not how you're supposed to test welds, but oh well. So unfortunately it is raining outside, so that's why the garage behind me is closed, but that's okay. I live in Florida. I can get work done in the garage. It's just really hot. But anyways, here is the hitch piece that's going to support our wing. The wing is going to sit right here. I need to go cut out the top plate for this guy right here, and then we're pretty much done with the hitch part. So now it is time to start building the wing. It's built out of this foamular stuff. It's not particularly strong stuff. As you can see, I can pretty much bend this by hand, but I'm going to use a pretty cool construction method that relies on adhesive, and then we're going to have strips of steel on top of this. It's a pretty cool construction method, and it has a lot of significance going forward. And I'll also explain why this is actually a pretty strong construction method in a second. It's really interesting. Here's the strips of steel that are going to go on top of it. I think I've had these pieces of steel laying around in the garage for like 2 years. My dad gave these to me when his work was throwing them away. So thanks, Dad. Finally get to put them to use. And they're also pretty much the perfect size for the wing I want to make, and quite thin too, so they're not tremendously heavy. So looking at the construction method here, we're going to have a layer of steel on the bottom that's going to get adhesive to the wing part, and then a layer of steel on top that's going to get adhesive to the wing part again. And you can see I've already cleaned it, so we're ready to stick them on there. And there's going to be a piece of steel in the front and a piece of steel in the back, and then I'm going to make an end plate. The reason why we need an end plate is because you have high pressure air on top of the wing and low pressure on the bottom of the wing, and that high pressure air wants to spill around the side of the wing. So the end plates help to keep the high pressure on top of the wing and generate downforce. The other reason why we need end plates on here is because they look cool. So I'm going to get to probably, I don't know, half an hour of cutting. It's only going to take you about 30 seconds, and then I'll explain this super cool construction method. So here's all the pieces cut out. These are the pieces that are going to be on the front and rear edges of the wing. These are the two end plates. This little triple pyramid stack, I'll explain in a second, but this top plate is what's going to get welded to the 2-inch tube that goes to the hitch, and then I'll drill 2 holes through here to sandwich this pyramid all together, and I'll also drill through the wing at the same time once that's done drying tomorrow. All right, so I managed to get this top plate on here. So before I just did these two, and the bottom one's on as well. Next step I'm going to do is I'm going to get all these clamps off first, and these ratchet straps. The ratchet straps are just to provide some loading in this direction. I'll get all these clamps off too, and then I'll probably sand these sides down, and we'll be ready for the end plates to go on. So those will sit on there like that, and the wing's starting to take shape. Looks pretty good. All right, so this is one of the final steps to getting the wing mounted to the truck. I've got it rigged up in the drill press. We're going to drill some holes in it. That's how I'm going to mount it to the hitch tube. All right, so I've got the sandwich plate here, and then the main tube that's going to go in the hitch and support the wing. This guy's just leaning up against the workbench. We're going to go ahead and marry these two together. We're getting pretty close to the end of the build. So these little plates on the bottom, which I was talking about, earlier in the video, you notice there's one, which is the main one, which this tube is welded to, and then this lower one right here, and then we got the actual wing. So the idea with this is that's going to kind of distribute load, and it's kind of acting like a bit of a leaf spring. So it's not so much pressure on this tiny little pad, we kind of have a bit more there. And I actually really wanted to like have all my weight hanging off the edge of the wing, but I'm kind of afraid I'm going to break it. That was actually the point for going in and doing the little like spring system under here, like a leaf spring. Obviously she's bolted on, that's not the best for the aerodynamics. The underside of a wing is what actually generates the majority of the downforce. So you get high pressure on top and low pressure on the bottom. So these are in the turbulent flow, but that's just for serviceability in the future. So you may have seen these two little studs that I've added in the video. I don't think I showed me building these, but these are threaded right here. And there's another hole in the front. So let me show you what that's for. And there's the real point for building this thing. Cat's out the bag, I guess. You probably already knew. That thing doesn't really generate a whole lot of downforce. It's completely the wrong shape. Might generate some on the bottom, just a bit of suction of it sucking the air up to the bottom of the wing, but it ain't much. Oh yeah, these letters, they're gonna get redone. There are a couple revisions I'm gonna do to this. So I hand cut all these letters. First I did them with white paper, and that didn't work, so I went and redid it again with some blue painter's tape and stuck that on here. That worked a little bit better, but obviously you can see because they were cut by hand, they're a little bit janky. So there are going to be some revisions to this guy, even though this build is kind of done. There will be a part 2. The revisions are going to be, obviously I'll redo these letters. I'll probably just do vinyl for them, and then I'll get like a YouTube sticker, and it's still going to be black and red. Also, this upper strip right here is black. The black upper strip here kind of clashes with the black letters, so this will be white in the final revision. And also the wing is going to get some cooler end plates. With this white sign and the black wing, this thing kind of disappears into the background, and all people look at is this, I feel like. It probably works out here because it's a really light background, so there will be a second part to this. So you can probably see there's this piece on the top here. What that's for is that's actually going to have a light on it when I'm done. So you're going to see a second video for this, and I'll do the lighting on that little strip when I'm done, and that'll obviously light the sign so people can see it at night. Another thing with that is these are kind of bent down, so hopefully the light's kind of refracting off the sign and it's not going to be projecting out towards the road when I'm driving, and we won't be blinding people. So another thing here, there are actually 2 drilled and tap holes right here, which I was going to go and put another sign on, but I just didn't really like it. You have kind of like that sign and then that one and then the wing, and they're all oriented 90 degrees from each other. So I really just didn't like it, and obviously I decided not to do this one. This one even has the light rail that's on top, but didn't like it after I made it. So I'm pretty sure at the beginning of the video I said that I was going to use a ratchet strap and tie it to the bed to stabilize this guy, and I actually even went and made a bracket to do that. That would have been right here, and the strap kind of would have wrapped around and went down to the bed. There's kind of an issue and luckily I realized that pretty early on, and that's it'd be hard to kind of mount stuff in the bed when I ran a strap like that. And then I found a better solution. So right down here in the hitch, there, you probably can't see it, but there's a little bolt in there. It's just a little quarter by 20 bolt, and that just pushes up on the hitch and consequently forces the wing down onto the bottom of the hitch receiver here, and it takes out pretty much all the rattle. I could pretty much, I don't know if you can see it there or not, but I can shake the truck from the wing. It's decently strong. So I'm over here filming the video for the truck, but I just looked over there and realized, like right in that tree over there, what the heck is that? There's like a little like tree fort looking thing. We'll have to go check that out later. So another really cool thing about the sign is it doesn't really get in the way of my toolboxes. So I can mount one here, and usually I mount another toolbox here. Today I'm in a particularly lightweight configuration. So I'm running an actual air tank over there. That's just a 120 volt air compressor. It's a 13-gallon tank charged to 125 PSI. And I can actually get 2 tires aired back up off of that tank with obviously no power to it. But anyways, back to this sign. So I can actually open this toolbox completely up. This is a normal configuration I run it in. And well, earlier it didn't hit that, but the toolbox must have shifted a little bit driving around out here. And it just barely hits that sign. I could pretty much open this toolbox with the sign in place. And that has to be like one of the best things ever. I wish I could say I actually planned that, but I totally didn't. If I did plan it, it would have probably hit. So another really cool thing about the wing build is the way it was constructed. So it's a foam core on the inside, and then I used adhesive, Gorilla Glue, not sponsored, just it's the best product that I found in my testing. And then there's a metal skin around it. That's cool because it has significance going forward in the channel. I'm going to be building a flatbed, like I said, and I'll be building a camper on that flatbed in the future as well, and it's going to use the exact same construction method as this. I've done some testing with that 2 feet long and a 2-inch thick piece of foam with metal on both sides. It was able to support something like 300 pounds, and I was even kind of like jumping up and down on it. And obviously I was holding cinder blocks, so I don't weigh 300 pounds. So this little sandwich of material here is pretty much perfect for a camper build. As you saw, it's strong. Probably most importantly, this thing is pretty lightweight relative to its strength, and it has pretty good insulating properties as well because of the foam. All of those attributes are extremely desirable in a camper build. There's a lot of significance with this construction method moving forward, so it was really cool to build with it and do a little bit of testing with it on this project here. Stay tuned if you want to see a camper build. So with that, what do you think? I'm actually genuinely interested to see what people think about this thing. I've already taken it to one car show, and there were a good couple people staring at it as we were driving in. It was pretty cool. I'm definitely not used to that kind of attention, but if I'm gonna do YouTube, be kind of a public figure, I bet I probably should get used to it. So let me know what you think about that thing. Am I crazy or what? Is it a good idea? Let me know. With that, I'm Jay. You've been watching Jay Designs, and thank you so much for watching. Oh yeah, flatbed build. It's coming. It's happening. I'm starting it next week. If you want to see it, you know what to do. Making my way downtown to a sketchy tree thing in the middle of nowhere. It honestly looks like a couch in the tree. Pretty sketch. I'm out here all by my lonesome. Truck's way over there, by the way. Twisted T. Somebody must have got hit in the face. I'm barefoot, by the way. Probably not the best idea. Yeah, it's actually a couch. Not even joking.